Hello, everybody. Welcome back to ADHD Power Tools. Today, Brooke, I want to talk to you about your podcast, Successful with ADHD. You started about 3 months ago. I want to ask you, we know with ADHD, it can be difficult to take on such a large project and kind of execute and put it together. I want to ask you, how did you start and what tools did you use to make it happen, make it a reality?
Yeah, I love how we're talking about this because in all of our podcasts, we talk about the tools for ADHDers. And with ADHD, we can have initiation issues. So that's the getting started, as you mentioned. And then we can also have that 95% piece, which we've talked about before, not completing a task. And that could be for many different reasons: fear, not feeling good enough, not knowing what that last step is, not being able to visualize what something's going to look like. So really doing this podcast with you, ADHD Power Tools, and collaborating with someone made me realize, you know what? Even though you do all the editing, it's not that difficult to be able to just like start and record because the information's here, right?
Right.
Now, so that missing piece for me, the only missing piece was the editing. So the stars aligned and a podcast coach came to me for ADHD coaching. And I'm like, you know what? Now's the time. So when he was done coaching with me, I said, I want to hire you as my ADHD coach. I'm sorry, as my podcast coach.
Yes.
And so I pay him monthly. He gave me some coaching first. And he made it very simple. His name is Mark Ronick from Ironic Media. And then he told me like the equipment that I needed, which is the microphone that I'm wearing, and a little bit about my background and some of the tools like using Buzzsprout, then connecting it to all the different podcast platforms. What is the theme of what you want to talk about? What's the name? How to do the graphic art? I did that on Canva with my assistant. How to do an intro, like the basic intro, how to do an outro. So we recorded the intros and the outros on the calls. I know you've done that for ADHD Power Tools. So I didn't know how to do it for Successful with ADHD. And then my premise was to shine a spotlight on individuals with ADHD who feel full with success. So everyone's success is different. So what you define success as is different than what I define success as. And we think of ourselves so often as failures with ADHD. So I think it's really empowering to hear a story from someone who has an ADHD diagnosis, what it was like before their diagnosis, and then what tools they used to manage many of the symptoms to meet with success. So that's the premise. And we've had amazing experts like Dr. Gabor Mate, Dr. Amen, Dr. Hallowell's coming on. You're coming on.
Yes.
I said it. And we, in the first month, it's only been 3 months now. In the first month, it already went up to the top 2.5% of all podcasts. So I think that's really cool that there is a big following already because people want to be able to hear those success stories of people with ADHD and know that they can overcome a lot of the symptoms and manage it.
You've done so well. It sounds like, obviously your setup is a lot better. I don't have the microphone here. ADHD Power Tools doesn't have all that, but it's amazing to see that you've had Dr. Mate, for example, someone I've known about for a while. It shows that you're doing things right, and it's amazing. It's inspiring. I want to ask you, Brooke, it's a big team effort. It sounds like it's a big team effort. How important is the team effort in this, and how does that?
It's huge.
Yeah.
For me, at least. So some people do podcasts. They'll just take their phone, they'll record, and then they'll upload it. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it might not have the high quality audio or video. It also won't be edited. So there might be some ums and some parts of the video or audio that should be cut out. So that's why I really enjoy having a producer and coach who helps me. And it takes the stress off because
Yes.
that's not my strength. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford those services right now to make an impact in that community, because it's not cheap either to have an editor.
Of course.
And then all I have to do is step back and do what I love. I record, I speak, and I meet with new people, which I would have never spoken to had I not had a podcast. So I think it really allows me to get perspective, information, and just create new relationships. Because as you mentioned in our last episode, it's all about the human aspect and the element and relationships. So it also gives me that accountability to read more, because if I have an expert coming on, or I have someone coming on that wrote a book, I want to read their book before they come on so I can ask them the questions. So that's been helpful as well. And yes, the team effort is huge because of the strengths and weaknesses that I have. I also feel like there's been lots of changes throughout each episode. So you're never going to know what it's going to evolve into. You think you have this goal or vision in mind, and things are going to change before you even get there. So
Definitely.
my background changed, my lighting's changed, my background is still going to change in a little bit, and just being okay with it being okay.
Exactly, right? I mean, you take a look at ADHD Power Tools. We've changed our thumbnail a bunch of times. We've changed our intro a bunch of times. It's inspiring what you've done, and just hearing the untold stories is awesome. The experiences from your guests and stuff. Brooke, you've also been posting like little clips, right? Like kind of like we
Yes.
do over here, right? I've been,
Yeah,
and that's so valuable, right? Just those little clips, right? For our
I
ADHD
think
brains.
so. For ADHD brains, exactly. These short 1-minute clips, it's a teaser. And
Yeah.
some people just like the clip because it gives that valuable information in it,
Mhm.
that gold nugget of the episode. But
Mhm.
there's more than just one gold nugget of the episode, of course. So you gotta listen to the episode. So if you're gonna listen to the episode, I recommend you listen to it on like 2.0. That's what I like.
Okay.
And you can also go on YouTube and listen to it as well and watch it. I like watching podcasts, obviously,
Mhm, mhm,
since we do
mhm.
that with ADHD Power Tools. But yeah, we give shorts, reels, things like that. So if you don't want to listen to the whole thing or watch the whole thing, that's okay.
That's
Although you should.
no, it's great. It's great for drives, workouts, folding clothes. I always
Yeah.
play. It's great. Podcasts are awesome. It's kind of where the direction is moving, and then it's kind of moving in that podcast direction, right?
Oh, yeah. Since we started our podcast in 2020, it's exploded.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
So, and
But
it, in the end of 2023, I think even more millions of podcasts are going to be launched, from what Buzzsprout says.
it's wild. It's wild. But congratulations to you, Brooke. That's awesome.
Thank
That's awesome.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And if you're listening out there, like I've had some clients and some friends who have said, how did you do it? How did you start? So what questions do you ask? Blah, blah, blah. Literally just like came to me because I felt like I was able to unlock something by having the confidence of starting.
Mhm.
So I came up with the questions. Um, and my producer also helped me with the questions to edit. And I change around the questions, but I'm generally asking the same questions to the people I interview.
Definitely.
Unless they're experts in the field, then I change it based on the book.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because everybody has a story. Everybody has an experience. But it's awesome.
Exactly.
It's good to hear that you're able to prioritize, right? Your strengths, and yeah, like, focus on your strengths, and what you can do is being the host and asking those right questions and providing the context and knowledge. And that's awesome though. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, it totally energizes me. And in fact, I filmed an episode today, and this is my fourth podcast
Perfect.
filming for
There you
today.
go. Goodness gracious. Oh my God. You never catching the break, Brooke.